loving the sparkle with Cindy. Having a hard time with my name today. Seem to be doing that lately. Don't know why. And I got some tag questions. So I'll answer some tag questions. These tag questions today are about our furry little friends. And the first one, get it up here. What is your pet's name? Well, I have 4 of them. So I have Rocky, who, when he showed up on my doorstep, actually he showed up on my mother's doorstep, he was the same height he is, so he's pretty much full grown, and he's half bull mastiff, half pit bull, and he weighed 26 pounds. It was the most heartbreaking thing I had ever seen. I mean, it just tore my heart out, because he was nothing but a walking skeleton with skin. And my friend was like, oh, well, I want to take him. So I was like, okay. I didn't say anything. Well, I didn't realize he was going to take him and dump him. Well, he took him about a mile down the road and dumped him. And about 2 weeks later, the dog showed back up. And then someone shot at him. And actually shot a hole through his leg. And when I saw it, I was like, we're taking him to the vet, and I'm keeping him. So $500 later, after putting his arm back on his body, and of course he got backed over by someone because they weren't paying attention. So he had a broken pelvis, a hole in his leg, and weighed 26 pounds. And so I took him under my wing, and he now weighs 100 pounds. And he will guard this house, I think, with his life. Some creepy guy showed up at my door one night, late at night. I mean, like, hecka late at night. And that dog busted through the screen door. I don't know what vibe he was getting from him, but it evidently wasn't good. Because the dog actually went through the screen door and jumped up on his back legs and actually just about had that whole person's head in his mouth. I mean, he was just like ready to eat this person. And I was like, oh my gosh, he's going to eat him. But I was kind of glad he was going to eat him, because he was creeping me out, really creeping me out. And so the dog protects this place with his life. And so, that's that one. And I wouldn't give him up for the world. He did heal. He's got a scar on his leg, but he did heal. And then I have one that's, his mom was a little rat terrier we had. She was the neighborhood hoe, because she actually had a litter of dogs, and there was 2 separate daddies for this litter. There was a daddy that was a blue heeler, and a daddy that was a Jack Russell. And she had 2 half rat terrier Jack Russells and 2 half blue heeler rat terriers. The rat terrier blue heeler version were the cutest things you ever saw, because they were really itty bitty. I mean, look, itty bitty like a rat terrier, but had the exact markings of the blue heeler. I mean, kind of strange actually, but beautiful little dogs. And then the other one has the little bitty head like the rat terrier, but the body of a Jack Russell, and they can jump. I know, because I kept one of them. And he can jump about 4 feet off the ground. I call him Pogo sometimes, because that's what he looks like. A little pogo stick out there. But, yeah. And he was one that I worked with a doctor, and the doctor wanted this dog. So it was like, okay. And I gave him the dog. And like about 2 weeks later, he's like, "Oh, my wife is scared of it. I have to give it back, yada yada." So I told him I would always keep it. Every once in a while, I send him visitation pictures. He'll just get a little picture of him doing something cute. I call them visitation pictures. And so that's that dog. And he's like, 6 or 7 now. And then I have, whenever me and my ex-husband split up, that was his PTSD dog. And so I let him take her. Well, of course, the little blue heeler not pit, but Jack Russell, no, the blue heeler rat terrier. And so, where did that go away? And so, I let my ex have her. I don't want that. And so I let my ex have her. And so the one that was half Jack Russell, he kind of had a nervous breakdown. He would not go outside. I think he thought that, you go outside, you disappear. Because one I'd had for 12 years had to be put down because it got really, 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 really sick. And I had to have her put down. And so he just went into this mode of, oh, you go out that front door, you don't come back. And so you had to pick him up and physically carry him out. It's like he had a little doggy breakdown. And so I went to a rescue and got a puppy and brought the puppy in so that he could get acquainted with the puppy and, have a new playmate. Well, that took a while. Because he wanted to have nothing to do with that new puppy. But that's my third dog, which is a German Shepherd Red Setter mix. And that dog can run like the wind. I mean, beautiful dog. Runs like the wind. I love my boy Taz. He's great. And then I have a cat. So I got a kitten. I decided I wanted a kitten for some reason. And I brought the kitten in, and not one of these dogs ever growled at it, barked at it, nothing. In fact, the kitten has terrorized the dogs more than the dogs terrorized the kitten. The cat is now a year old. And the craziest thing you'll ever see is this cat over there on that big, huge dog, rubbing all over it and sitting on its face. What's with the sitting on the face? I don't know. But got to rub all over it and then sit on the poor guy's face. But it's really wild. So that's my pets. That answers the second one, which is what kind of pet is it and what breed. Now, the cat, she's just a Heinz. She's Heinz. She's little. Let me see. How long have I had my pets? Rocky, well, actually, Tommy, we had born to us, so he's about 7. Rocky got here about 5 years ago, and I have no clue how old he is. Because he was full grown, supposedly, according to the vet. But, and then Taz, I got him 2.5 years ago, 3 years ago. It was like just before my mom passed. So it's been 2.5 years. And so that's my dogs. And then, let me see. And the kitten I got a year ago, November. So she's been here for a little over a year. Okay. How did I get my pets? Most of them are rescues, except for the one that was born here. They've shown up and I rescued them, or I went to a rescue place and got them. So they're all rescued. Even the kitten was a rescue. She was being fostered. And I got her at the fosters. So I always try to rescue. I didn't. How old are your pets? I answered that. What are some quirky things about my pet's personality? Well, one, they think they own the house. They really do. They think they own the house. They have kicked me out of my bed. I have come laid on the couch because they took my bed. It's like, you got a king-size bed and you get 6 inches, and then they take it. And then you're on the floor almost. So I was like, I'm just going to the couch. And then they come out here, and then you run as fast as you can to get in the bed before they take it all. And I've done that a few times. The cat plays Indy 500 up and down the bed. She'll go from the bottom of the bed up to the headboard, straight up the bed, over my head, jump up in the window, and I don't know what she's looking at in the middle of the night, check out whatever she's checking out there, and then do the Indy 500 back down. And she'll do that 3 or 4 times before she finally goes away and quits having her zoomies. Of course, all my dogs think they have to be underneath the covers, and so they'll climb under the covers and decide they're too hot for the covers, and then take off, and then for some reason all the covers decide they want to go with them. And so a lot of times I end up with no covers, which I don't like. And I would lock them out, except for my door doesn't shut, and so I'm kind of stuck with just having fits with them sometimes. They all think they need to be right on top of me. They all think they're lap doggies, from the 26-pound one to the 100-something pound one. They all think they are supposed to be in your lap, which they are not. Let me see what else. Yeah. What is my relationship with my pets mean to me? Well, my pets have been there through thick and thin. They are kind of like my children now. I mean, you actually have to arrange if you're going somewhere. What are you going to do with your pets? When I had surgery, what was I going to do with my pets? So they're kind of like having children. They're my kids. I buy them, little toys, and they actually have a toy box which they go over and dig in, get their little toys out. So they're like little children. What are my pastimes with my pets? I actually like just sitting down and cuddling with them. They'll come up and lay down on the couch with me, behind me, and cuddle up. That's one of my favorite things. Or go out and just walk around, because I live out in the country, and we'll kind of go walk down the road, and that's a nice pastime. So that's one of the nicer things to do with them. Of course, my brother and my son are like, no, they're going to scare off the deer. So we've gotten to where we now put them in the backyard. They used to be free roam range kind of pets, but not anymore, because they don't want them. Plus, the big bull mastiff one got out there one day, and him and a bear went toe to toe for a little while. At least I still have a dog. But yeah, they were out there, and my dad was like, I wasn't sure who was going to win that one, because he said I could hear the bear growling, and I could hear Rocky barking, and he said I wasn't sure which one was going to win that. I think they called it a truce, and both went their merry ways. You see, what nicknames do I call my pets? Well, Rocky, I call Rockmo or Rock. Now he just looked at me like, what you want, Mom? Tommy is Tom Tom, or Tommy Toes. Sometimes I call him Tommy Toes. Yeah, you looking at me now. Taz is Taz Boy or Tasmanian. He's Taz Boy when he's not in trouble, and he's Tasmanian when he is in trouble, and I think he knows it. Because depending on what I'm calling him is how fast he'll come. If I'm calling him Tasmanian, sometimes he'll wait a while before he comes. It's like, yeah, you mad? I'll wait. And so that's my nicknames. And then the cat's name is Luna, and sometimes I call her Luna Kitty. And she'll actually come to Luna Kitty before she will anything for some reason. if she likes the way that sounds. So she'll respond to Luna Kitty before and here she comes because I called her. And for you guys that have pets, tell me, does your cat do this? My cat, for some reason, thinks she always has to stick her rear end, and she's fixed, so it's not that she's in heat or anything, but she's always got to stick her rear end in somebody's face or something's face all the time. It's like, what is it with you? I don't want your rear end. The dog don't want your rear end. Nobody wants your rear end. Stop. You know, she's fixed. She shouldn't be sticking her rear end in places. So, does anyone else's cat do that? Kind of weird. Just saying. Kind of weird. And then, I've had, back when I had a pool, I've had the deer jump in my pool. That was kind of strange. You know, you see little hoofs all the way across your pool bottom. So that was kind of weird. And now we don't, you know, my son samurai'd it, so we're just waiting for him to come take it down. Poor thing lived about 6-7 years for an above ground pool. That's a long time. It actually rusted out because I did saltwater pools and all the corners rusted out. And of course, none of the dealers carry the parts. They're all not available. They want you to buy a new pool. And we tried to makeshift it and got another year out of it that way, but it was just like, I had to let it go. Just had to do it. Let me see. That's it for the pet ones. Okay. And these are just information about me. And it says, what are you wearing? I'm wearing a red shirt and blue jeans. Have you ever been in love? Well, I'm 61 years old, so I sure as heck hope so. But none of them have worked out. And sometimes I think it's better, you know, if you're in a halfway decent one. Even though, you know, the one I was in the longest, it got to where I just got tired of raising him. Because he was always acting like a kid. And so when he came in and said I want a divorce, I finally just said fine. And so, yeah. Have been, but now very careful. Have you ever had a terrible breakup? Not really. Well, I guess with the first one, because, you know, he's the one that come in and asked for the divorce, and I gave it to him, and then he found out he was actually going to have to work, and he didn't want to get divorced then, and so he was kind of a real jackwagon for quite a while. Let's see. How tall are you? I am 5'4". How much did you weigh? I ain't telling that. No one needs to know that. I don't like that one. Have I ever kissed anyone of the same gender? Other than my kids, you know, on the cheek? No. I've never gone there. I had someone on Facebook that was like always going, she'd get drunk online and then tell me how hot I was, which was kind of interesting for a while there. It was like, what? I think she was up in Pennsylvania. But other than that, no. And let me see, what's the next one? Have you ever been in an accident? Yes, I have. I've been in a couple, but only one has really scared the bejesus out of me, and that was me and a coworker. And of course, we're the only two nurses for that unit, and we're carpooling to work. And as we're going across this intersection, this teenager come barreling down the hill, doing about 50 miles an hour in a 30-mile-an-hour zone, and T-boned us and pushed us across 4 or 5 lanes and up into someone's front yard. And of course, you know, we're both going, oh my God, we need to call work, let them know we're not coming, is like A. And then B, you know, get the ambulance, and we're both in an ambulance. We end up at work. You got to call your spouses to come pick you up. But I can remember because I actually saw the car coming. And I actually remember seeing the car coming and just yelling, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Because I knew it was going to hit us. And I was just like scared to death. Because I thought we were going to die. Literally. Thought we were going to die. I mean, I have never been so scared in my life. And we had to be the jaws of life to get us out, extricated, and I actually felt something move in my spine, and I actually had a couple millimeter shifts in my vertebrae that they noticed when they looked at the x-rays the next day, and they called me up and say, oh, by the way, you have this. And then I was like, oh my God, am I gonna die? What's the deal? Because I thought for sure, I'm gonna die, because you just now found out that my whole spine has moved. So that was kind of freaky, scary. And let me see what else. And you're tied to a backboard. You're laying there for God forever. All you can see is the ceiling. It was just very scary. And I had PTSD riding in the passenger side of the vehicle for quite a while. I mean, every time I'd see a car coming out my peripheral vision, I would be heading for the floorboard. Why I thought the floorboard was a good idea, I don't know. Floorboard's not a good idea, but I, for some reason, thought the floorboard was a good idea. Let me see, what's the next one? Quality you look for in a partner. Well, it's not looks. It's how they treat you. They can look really hot and be really jerks. So, if you got someone that tells you you're beautiful, that you mean the world to them, that's more important than all the you're hot that there is in the world. Because you're hot will only go so far before it wears out. Now, you're beautiful, I care for you, I'm there for you. That's more important. So those are the qualities. I mean, the other things are nice, but they're not what it's all about. It'd be nice if you could say it was, but it's not. Let me see, what's the next one? When's the last time you kissed someone? Oh my God. I'd say at least a year and a half. Been a long time. Been a long time. I'd say at least a year and a half. I mean, other than my grandkids on their forehead. How long does it take to take a shower? Well, I absolutely hate showers. I like baths. And I can stay in the bathtub for a long time. I can read a book in there. I can play a game in there. I can turn Alexa on and listen to some songs in there. So, yeah, bathtub all the way. Turn on the jacuzzi, yeah, bathtub all the way. When I had surgery and they said, oh, no bath, you can't get it wet, I sit there and would just put 2 inches of water in the bathtub and take a bath that way, rather than have to get in a shower. One, I have super thick hair, and my hair will be wet for a day and a half. And that's not fun. Day and a half of wet hair is not fun. I can think of a lot more fun things than day and a half of wet hair. Let me see what the next one is. The last thing that made you cry. Oh, last Thursday live with Angie. I bawled my little eyeballs out. Bawled my eyeballs out. Because I'm dealing with a lot of issues with my mom's passing, with whenever I basically died and came back. And so it's a lot of issues that you deal with when that happens, that you work through. And yeah. So I'd say last Thursday. Last time you said you loved someone. Oh, good Lord. It's been years, years and years and years. Like I said, unless it's the grandkids, years and years and years. You get that out of me, it really means something. The last person I spoke to, say it was my son. Since he has gotten COVID, and since then he has called every single day to check in, let me know he's doing okay, how he's feeling. You know, I was a nurse before I was told I couldn't work no more, so what does he need to do? What does he need to take? You know, what should he be feeling? That kind of stuff. And so I would say my son. Before that, it was my friend that I'm talking to. We're trying to see if we can make it go somewhere. And his name's Mike. We talk quite frequently now. Do you have a crush? No, not really. A little old for crushes. The most difficult decision I ever took. Okay. Most difficult decision I took, and I took it pretty much with this last surgery. I knew that I was going to have to file for disability and that I would not be able to work again. And I find it took a lot to come to that decision, because I didn't want to face that I no longer could work and support myself, you know, and have my extra cash. And it took a bit for me to face that and say, fine, okay. When the doctor was like, well, if you go back to work, you know, you're going to be back on the table here shortly. And that's when I told her, no, I'm going to file for disability. And she was like, well, then I'll start putting stuff in your paperwork that'll help you. And that was the most difficult decision that I've ever had to make. Because you know that once you go down that road, that's it. You are done. And I actually had savings saved up for retirement, which is gone, because I have been living on savings for the since September, because that's how long it's been since I've been to work. I think the middle of February is when I can finally put in for long-term disability, because you have to be off work for 160 days. And that'll be my 160-day mark. So, yeah. That kind of bites. But that's when my 160 days is up, and I can finally put in for long term. And maybe start getting some money back in. And thank goodness I had a heck of a stash in my craft room. I would have been heartbroken. And then thank goodness for Cecil. Cecil is the bomb. It is the bomb diggity. Because, you know, I could give up, you know, $17 here or there. It's when it's bigger than that I can't. Let me see. How important are children to you? Well, I guess my grandkids are really important because as a grandmother, during the summer, I have them most of the summer. They're from Monday through Thursday and they go home on Friday. Or I have them for a solid week here and I usually get all of them at once. So I'll have all 5 of them at one time. And they range from 4 years old to 14. So I got getting out of toddler crap and teenager, all the way in between. My poor granddaughter, her first major zit on her nose, that was rough. Because she's fixing to hit puberty, and yeah, that was rough. Poor little thing. And let me see. Let me scroll up. What is one thing you will never do again? No, there are quite a few. Let me think of which is the worst. Probably jumping off of a cliff. I don't see me ever doing that again. Because I used to go cliff diving, and at my age, I just don't see that again. One, I'm scared to death of heights, so it's really rough. I just don't really like heights. I can go up, but I can't get down. It used to suck when I'd go hunting. I'd get up in the tree, and then it would take me most of the day to get the wherewithal to get back out of that tree. Let me see what the next one is. Let me see. The craziest thing I've done for love. Ooh. I would have to say, that one's a hard one. That one is a hard one. I would say moved to northern Maine for 7 years. Ended up loving it up there, but yeah. That was cold, far, but we did it to get out of where we were at. We were in northeast Arkansas, which, if anyone knows that area, it is the armpit of Arkansas. It was horrible. So, yeah. Craziest thing you've done for a friend? Pretended like I was her girlfriend so that she would be left alone by some guy. So I got to play the third wheel, or the other partner, to get her out of a bad situation. Oh, that's not it. I need to go down. So it's 74. But yeah, that was interesting. We're still best friends. Oh, I know what the craziest thing I've done for love is. I flew to Arizona to meet someone that I had met online and that I had never met in person. That was crazy. And we actually stayed together for like a year and a half. Let me see. Craziest thing you've done for your family. Moved out here into the country because my parents were elderly. They lived way out here in the country, and they were out here by themselves. And so they gave me some land. I put a modular home on the land and moved across the road from them so that they would not be out here by themselves. So, yeah. Let's see. from a different continent. It says, have you ever been intimate with someone from a different continent? No. That one, I just don't go very far from home, so that one's a no. What is my biggest fear? Well, I can't say dying because I've done that. I would have to say having one of my children die because I just don't know if I could deal with that. That's one of my bigger fears. Would you rather be loved or have a lot of money? I'd rather be loved. You can only do so much with money. Happiest childhood memory. I lived in California. I lived in the suburbs of LA. And my happiest memory was going down into the California riverbeds. You know, you see them on TV. And it's where it has that water going down the middle. And I would go down there and catch tadpoles and collect them to go fishing. And that was one of my favorite childhood memories. Of course, my mother had no clue. I know when my grandkids were here and they were down by the creek and my mom was freaking out and I was looking at her going, where do you think I played when I was a kid? I was down at the riverbed. Where'd you think I got them tadpoles from? We were like, I didn't know. Okay. What is the most embarrassing moment of your life? My daughter, when she decided to melt down at the Boy Scout banquet and had the law called on me because they thought I was beating her because she was acting a fool and screaming her head off. And someone called the law saying that a child was being beat. I have never been so embarrassed in my life. I wanted the hole to open up and I was going to jump in it. That was awful. Awful, awful, awful. Yeah, that is hands down my most embarrassing moment. Hands down. Hands down. And yeah. Oof. Most embarrassing. That brings back a... Okay, what would you change about my face? About my face. Well, as I've gotten older, I'd say my nose. Because it's true, as you get older, your nose seems to get bigger for some reason. And then the little lines are by my mouth. I don't like them either. They popped up in the last year or two. Because I can say the last couple of years have not been easy. They have not been pleasant. And they have aged my face. And let me put this on here and then I'll check what the next one is. Next one. Come on, let go. Okay. Who has influenced you the most in your life? Who's influenced me the most? I would have to say my mother, because she had a very rough marriage and her second marriage and a very rough life, and she really had to do some hard stuff. And so I learned a lot of my tenacity from her. What's the worst thing about the opposite sex? I don't know. They're both pretty crazy. But the worst thing about the opposite sex? Probably the fact that they say they're going to do something and half the time they don't. You got to remind them about 15 times to get it done. So I guess that would be it. And then, what do you love most about the opposite sex? That if they really care for you, they will give all to protect you and take care of you. So, I really love that about men. Good men, anyway. What profession do you hate most? Well, I can honestly say when I went into nursing, I love nursing. Nursing now is nothing like it was when I went into it. And I would have to say nursing. Nursing has been not so fun nowadays. It's more political. It is more about the paperwork. It's not about the patient. It's just make sure you click the right box, do it in at this time, and it's. I'd have to say, like I told my daughter, do not become a nurse. I would have to say nursing. I was a nurse, but I would have to say nursing. Are you close with your family? Yes, I am. I am very close with my family. Before, like right now, because I live about a little over an hour away, and with gas prices and all, so I don't see my kids as much. But before all that, we would see each other at least once or twice a month. Right now, it's a little more than that. What's my ultimate goal in life? My goal is to be happy. Material things do not matter. It is to be happy, to be loved, to be happy. I learned that at a very young age. I think I was 29. And it was when we were living in Maine. And those of y'all that are around my age remember when this happened. But they had those 2 Air Force tankers that blew up over Nova Scotia as they were flying back in to land at the base. And my ex-husband used to be a boom operator. He flew. He had just gotten grounded because his ears were messing up on him. But that was back during the Cold War, when you lived, with these men for a week, and then you'd be home for a week, and then you'd live with these men for a week. And it was like 6 a.m, and it rocked the house. It rocked the base. And they were about 10, 15 miles out from the base, but it rocked the base. And I remember sitting up in bed saying, they're all dead. And my ex-husband was like, what are you talking about? And I just said, they're all dead. And then he got the phone call. And I remember, because we lived in like a U-shaped housing area. And I remember the boom operator's wife, because she lived right up the road from us. And the chaplain came to tell her. And I just remember her screaming and yelling and crying. And all she was going on about was how they had wasted all their time with her working overtime so that they would have everything paid off and have time later. And she goes, and now we have no time. And that was the day I learned to smell the roses, be happy with what you've got. Don't spend all your time working overtime for monetary things and, stuff, because you never know when they're going to be gone. And it was the most heartbreaking thing I've ever seen. I mean, it was bad. And since then, I don't care about stuff. I care about experiences and people. People mean much more than stuff. So, yeah, that was a very rude awakening lesson to learn in life at that age. Do I snore? Well, I've been told I snore, so I would say yes. I'd say yes, I do. I think I used to snore more than I do now. Because I know there was times I would come home and be so tired that I would actually wake myself up snoring. And that's pretty bad. But that's because I was so tired. Okay, let me see what the next one is. Next one. Last time you sat by the phone waiting for someone to call. That's been a long time because I don't do that anymore. You're either going to call or you're not. When you call, you call. And if you don't, you don't. So I'd say years for that one. Have you ever had a crush on an older person? No, I would say no, because, well, other than actors, like Sam Elliott's pretty hot, and he's older. But other than that, I usually don't date older guys, because all of them that are older than me are usually all decrepit and on the couch. So I usually am like 5 to 7, 8 years younger than me. Because I was just like, yeah. Because a lot of them are just all decrepit and can't even walk to the top of my heel. And I mean, even now I can walk to the top of my heel if I put my mind to it. So, yeah, no. All right. Last time I watched an adult movie, I would say I was probably in my 20s. Probably in my 20s, because I used to take them to the office for the guys to watch. Because we'd be stuck in there on alerts and couldn't do anything, so I would just take them movies and I'd read a book. And let's see, what else? How is my relationship with my father? Well, my real father, we had a horrible relationship because he would just call and cuss, and he just wanted things. He wanted stuff from you. Didn't see him my whole life. He didn't have nothing to do with us growing up, and then he moved out here and was like all about, oh, you need to clean my house, you need to do this, you need to do that. And I wasn't about that. And so I just kind of broke away from him. My stepfather, who I call Dad, and who to me is my dad, because anytime I've ever needed anything, he has always been there. We are very close. We are very close. We hang out at least once a week. We're always, on the phone checking on each other. We're very close. So, yeah. He will always be my dad to me. He's been my dad since I was like 19. The most attractive person I know. Well, I really don't know anybody. I pretty much just stay home. So that one, I say, don't know anyone. And does a massage make me wet? I would not know because I haven't had one. Does size matter? Size does matter. Matters in diamond paintings. You definitely want to have them to have something there to work with. I mean, it doesn't have to be freaking huge, but you want something. So it does matter in some ways. I mean, it's not the most important thing, but it does matter. Let me see, what's the next one? I don't know. I'm just skipping on that one. That's the same gender one again. What is the most childish things you do still as an adult? I can do some pretty childish things. I am like your proverbial kid. I don't think I'm ever going to grow up. Because I would sing and dance, you know. I was your singing, dancing nurse. I would, if you were on the table and you were scared, I'd ask you what music won. If you said you wanted, Metallica, you got Metallica. If you wanted AC/DC, you got AC/DC. Whatever you wanted, you got. And I actually had it in my little repertoire. So yeah, I still act like a kid at heart. I get on the ground, crawl around with the grandkids. I'm a kid at heart. Oh wow, finished that section. Yes. I managed to do 1,200 stitches. All right. Hardest drug you ever did? I think when I was a teenager, I did some Quaaludes. That's been it. And I didn't like them because you forgot. You didn't remember crap. It was like, so what's the fun in that? No fun in that if you can't remember nothing. Okay. Pull that from up there. Put that right. Move it over just a tad. Okay. Have you done any cosmetic surgery? Surgery, no, but I did get eyebrows microbladed and I did get permanent eyeliner done. Because I'm not about that getting up in the morning and having to work on my eyes or my eyebrows for hours. It's like, yeah, not up for that. So that's been about the most permanent thing I've done. Ow. Well, no, that's another sex question. We're going to leave that out. Okay, here's some. Most likely to cry over a sad movie? Definitely. Yep, definitely. I'll bawl like a baby. I'm one of them people that I kind of feel other people's things. I can walk into a room and tell if you're depressed or not. Kind of sucks. I call them emotional vampires because that's about what it feels like when you're around them kind of people. Most likely drop their phone in the toilet. I have come really close to dropping the phone in the toilet. I've not done that, but I've come really close. It has gone swimming 3 times in my bathtub. In fact, last night, it went swimming in my bathtub. It was like, really? I was reading a book in the bathtub and put it on the side of the bathtub to get out. And what did it do? It fell down in the bathtub. Luckily, I have a waterproof phone. And evidently, it really is, because it has gone swimming in the bathtub about 3 or 4 times. A couple times because I fell asleep, and the last time because it just fell in there. So, that's those. Most likely to fall while walking. Oh my God, I have done that. We was in Chili's, and I did not realize there was a step down from the booth. And I was getting down from the booth. And as I stepped down, it was just like bloop, bloop. And I went straight down. I mean, just all fours on the floor. And that hurt. Oh my God, that hurt. And everyone's like, oh my God, are you okay? And you're like, yeah, I'm fine, I'm fine. Trying not to look like an idiot because you've just done the splat on the floor. Yeah, that was pretty rough. My poor. And then I did it once going up the steps. I went to the beach and sat down where we drank all the tequila, and so we was going to get more. And as I'm going up the concrete steps, I tripped going up the steps and fell going up steps. Kind of reminded me of Biden. Let me see. Oh, those I don't do any. Don't do that. Don't do that. Most likely to laugh at the wrong moment. Yeah, I do that. A lot of times if I'm nervous or angry, I will laugh to cover it up. And people get really pissed when you do that. Why are you laughing? That's not something you laugh about. It's like, I can't help it. You know, someone falls down and you're just busting up laughing and you're like all upset. All upset. Okay. And let me see. Most likely spend all their money on something stupid. Me. I've got about $6,000 worth in diamond paintings in there. I sit there and I did not realize it until I put them in Jim's Flow. And I put them in Jim's Flow and then calculated them out. I got a feeling it's even more than that. But my daughter-in-law sat there and she calculated them up, and she come up and she said, Mom, just what you know is in there, this is how much it is. So yeah, spent a lot of money on, yeah. But I will never have to worry about being paintingless forever, because I will always have something I can do. A lot of them were when I first started, and so they're not the best quality ones. But if you're just wanting to put beads down to relieve your stress, they work. Okay, what else? Most likely to spend Christmas in jail. That would be my ex-husband, because he went there. That's why we were divorced. About 3-4 years ago. I guess it's been 3, because we've had 2 or 3 Christmases since then. Yeah, 3. We've had 3 Christmases, so it's been 4 years ago. I don't know what happened. I really don't. But the man went nuts. Him and my son-in-law got into it. And next thing I know, the fool has pulled out a shotgun and is outside shooting over their car. Now, the 3 grandbabies are in the car. My daughter is in this car. I'm to the mindset of like, you want to shoot him, that's fine, but you're not going to shoot my daughter and you're not going to shoot my grandbabies. So I'm out there and I bit down on this man's arm, trying to make him let go of the stupid shotgun. Well, it didn't work, but I was like a piranha. My son, who I was majorly proud of, is out there holding the barrel of this gun, telling him he's not going to shoot anybody today. And he's like, oh, yeah, I am. And, my son, until the gun finally jammed and he could get it away from him, just kept telling him he wasn't going to shoot anybody that day. So I was very proud of him on that point, because he handled it very well. Me, not so much. And so when they left, well, my daughter, she said, Mom, I was so scared. Well, actually, they went to the end of the road as he beat their car as they got out of the driveway. And so they got to the end of the road and they called the police, notified them. And they told them to wait there until they got, to the road and come back up with them. Well, they came in, they took a statement, and then, of course, the ex was like, well, yeah, I figured you was going to be here. And then he proceeds to start, they're telling him, no, don't do that, and he's doing it. And so he resisted arrest, and they just about had to choke him out. And so, he ends up going to jail. And I called check, and they were like, yeah, it's like an $8,000 bond. And I was like, well, you can just keep him then, because I wasn't paying that amount of money to get him out, especially with what he did. And then he proceeds to tell me that, in his jail mail, that at least he didn't shoot in the car, and that was the wrong thing to say. So not only did he spend Christmas in jail, he was in jail for 3 months because I did not get him out, and I divorced him while he was in jail. I did my own divorce. I went online and said, "Can I do a divorce online?" And they said, ask these questions, and I answered them, and they were like, "Yeah, sure." So I was like, "Yeah," I dropped papers, and I played my own lawyer. I did it all, and I was like, "Yeah." It was like, "Yeah, mm-mm." I took all his stuff, put it in a storage unit. It was like, yeah, not playing. Comes to shooting over. I mean, the youngest one was like 6 months. I have never felt such terror in my life as I did right then. Because I didn't know if, one of them bullets was going to ricochet and hit one of the babies. I was just like terrified. Absolutely terrified. So, yeah. Let me see. Most likely to stalk a crush. Nah, you don't like me, I'll just kick rocks and go somewhere else. It's like, I'm not doing that. Now, when I was younger, maybe. I remember driving by someone's house all the time. But yeah, now, no. Nope, nope. Let me see. I don't know about humanitarian, but I would definitely volunteer at a animal shelter. Would definitely do that. I love my little fur babies. Most likely lose their temper. I think the last time I lost my temper was when I chewed the doctor out. And that's been a few years. Those must be teenage questions. Those are teenage questions. Let me see what time I'm on. Oh, I'm at an hour. So I guess I'll stop it here because I'm at an hour. I'll get this uploaded, and we'll do tag questions another day. And maybe would you rather during a live. But this has been fun. You got to know some about me. I had to think about some of these. I did get that area over there done. Where it's starting to go into the Aurora Borealis on the other side. This here is all this area is going to be this color. So it'd be really pretty. And then if you enjoyed this and would like to hang with me some more, hit subscribe. On your way out, hit the like. If you want to see when I upload videos or do lives, hit the all button, little bell, and hit all. On Thursdays from 12 to 2 Central Time, I'll be doing Therapy Thursdays. And what that is where you can come in, and if you just need to talk about something, it's a judgment-free zone. You can come in and get whatever you need to off your chest. No one's going to judge you. No one's going to have any nasty comments. You can just vent. You can get it off your chest, kind of like therapy, but a whole lot cheaper. And no one will harass you, be mean, bully, because the first time they'll go in timeout, the next time they'll get blocked. Not going to play. That's a judgment-free zone. Because that's not fair to ask people to come in and open up and then you dig on them about it. That's not fair. But so many people are going through stuff right now and they need a place they can go talk. So that'll be Thursdays from 12 to 2. It's been fun. I'm going to get off of here now.
and y'all come back again. Thank you. Bye.